Planet Earth is full of mysteries and wonders, but when you step outside of Earth and start exploring the vast openness that is the universe, now that's when things get interesting, because there are so many wonders and unanswered questions out there that never fail to amaze. And here are 5 that I'm sure will get you thinking. Wormholes and time travel. A wormhole is a theoretical passage through space-time that could create shortcuts for long journeys across the universe. The theory of them began in 1916 when the Australian physicist Ludwig Flamm was looking over the equations for a particular type of black hole. He theorized that a black hole's entrance and exit could be in a completely different place in space and could even end up in a totally different universe. 19 years later, in 1935, Einstein further explored these ideas with Nathan Rosen, and they both came up with the theory that a connection between 2 points in space could create a shortcut through time, and so the theory of Einstein-Rosen bridges, also known as wormholes, was brought to light. So a wormhole, in theory, could be used to get us from one point in space to another, but as for time travel on Earth, how is that a possibility? Well, what if both ends of a wormhole were just next to each other? If you entered the one end in, say, 2020, how much time would have passed by the time you got out? That is a question that scientists are still trying to figure out, and Professor Stephen Hawking has said that he believes a wormhole could allow for time travel into the future, and says there are tiny wormholes all around us that are found in wrinkles and voids in time. But as with the wormholes theorized in space, they are far too small for humans to enter or see, and we only know of them through equations. Even if they were big enough, the equation for them shows they would be very unstable due to the amount of positive energy contained, which would cause the wormhole to collapse on itself. But if we could find a way of introducing negative energy to stop the hole from closing, then maybe we would have something that could be suitable for humans to enter. One way this could be done is by creating a man-made wormhole using negative energy, so that the wormhole would have an energy balance between negative and positive. So although a wormhole has never been seen, there is enough evidence to strongly suggest that they do exist. But as for time travel, the science says it's unlikely, but still a possibility if a man-made wormhole was created, which is no doubt a future possibility. Multiverses and the parallel universe. So, I said that physicist Ludwig Flamm theorized that a black hole's exit could end up in a completely different universe, but what does that mean? Well, what if our universe is just one of many other universes out there? Although the thought of a multiverse does sound unlikely to many, recently it's been the subject of some serious debate, and the most common theories are what's called Level 1 and Level 3 multiverses. We can all somewhat agree that the universe has no end, and most likely stretches out infinitely. Well, a Level 1 multiverse is the hypothesis that the universe is so big and endless that the probability of there being other planets like Earth with life formed is inevitable, because there is a finite number of ways particles can be arranged, so eventually things will have no choice but to start repeating. So if we could travel far enough, this theory says you would eventually find infinite versions of yourself, each playing out a different life, and even infinite versions doing exactly what you're doing right now. And a Level 3 multiverse is the hypothesis that probably most of us are familiar with when thinking about multiverses. It's basically the parallel universe, where our universe is like one page in an infinite page book. Everything that happens in your day-to-day life, every decision you make is causing a split of your now self into an infinite number of yous, all of which are unaware of each other. So, multiverses or not, the thought that there could be another version of ourselves, either in another dimension or in the distance, is a crazy thought. And an equally incredible wonder is the thought that the universe is actually infinite and continues on forever. We can only wonder what is out there in the deepest darkness of the unexplored area, far beyond what we can currently observe. This is a big wonder of the universe, and something we're constantly searching for. Is there anywhere else out there where humans could live? Now, this is not a discussion about aliens, but more of whether or not there are planets out there that could harbour us humans and Earth's animals, and there are a few likely candidates. Before looking for planets that can support life, what exactly would it need? Well, to name a few things, the planet would have to have water, and be close enough to a stable, long-lived sun to have running water, but not too far away from it to freeze over. It would have to have non-dangerous levels of radiation, sufficient oxygen, an ideal amount of gravity, an atmosphere, nutrients, and some other compounds. But these elements are what a planet would need to have a chance of supporting human life. So what have we found that is similar to Earth? Kepler 452b is one of the most likely candidates. NASA scientists have even called it Earth 2.0, and it's the closest Earth-like planet they have found. It orbits at a very similar distance from its star, and its star belongs to the same class as our Sun, but it does take slightly longer to orbit at 385 days. It's thought to be 60% bigger than Earth and is around 1,400 light years away. Researchers believe it's small enough and cool enough to support water, and therefore there is a good possibility it could support life. Other Earth-like planets found are Kepler 62e and 62f. Both planets were discovered around about the same time. They are both close to the size of Earth and orbit stars that are just a little bit cooler and smaller than the Sun. A study of 62e and 62f revealed that both of them are likely to be engulfed in water, meaning if not for the water, humans could possibly survive. But that's not to say there's not fish or other aquatic creatures similar to Earth's living there. It's hard to imagine a planet the size of Earth covered in water and there not being a single fish or creature there. So who knows, there could already be a whole unknown underwater life existing there right now. The Big Supervoid. There was a discovery that completely confused everyone recently. It was found by a team of Hawaiian astronomers, and the discovery was the existence of the supervoid. It was found in the distant depths of the cosmos, and this empty section of space is thought to be missing around 10,000 galaxies. It's believed to be 1.8 billion light years across, and is the largest individual structure ever identified. That doesn't really give it any justice though, so imagine this. 1 light year is around 5.9 trillion miles, and would take you around 95,000 years to travel if you were on board the fastest aircraft in the world. So 95,000 years times 1.8 billion. That's how long it would take to travel from one end of this supervoid to the other. Just its existence has baffled scientists, as the size of the void is much larger than anything previously predicted. It's almost too big to exist. It's just like a giant missing gap in the universe. The supervoid is thought to be only 3 billion light years away from Earth, which in cosmic terms is a relatively short distance. So why is this discovery so important? Mainly because scientists have no idea why there is an empty void, and believe it could be the cause of the cosmic microwave background cold spot, which is also another space mystery. It's a section that is unusually cold relative to its surrounding area that was discovered in 2004. It's situated in the constellation Eridanus in the southern galactic hemisphere at the furthest reaches of the observable universe. It's been the subject of many theories, but now with the discovery of the supervoid, scientists are exploring the possibility that the cold spot is actually caused by the supervoid. As radiation travels through the vast void, it would lose a lot more energy than if it was travelling through normal space, which could cause a cool imprint that would result in the huge cold spot. So that is the suggested explanation for the cold spot, but it and the supervoid still leave us with many unanswered questions that are forever reminding us of how confusing the universe is. The sounds of space. Here on Earth we hear sounds because they travel to our ears by vibrating molecules, but since there are no molecules in space that are suitable for sound to travel through, it's commonly thought that space is silent. But this is not technically true. Despite space being a virtual vacuum, sound does exist in the form of electromagnetic vibrations, and not so long ago NASA were able to design special instruments that were able to record these vibrations and transfer them into sounds that the human ears can hear. I will just play a few different sounds from space. They are truly wonderful, similar to the sounds in my underwater video, and are actually quite haunting. Put some headphones on if you have any, and take a listen. Those are truly amazing and really do speak for themselves. It sort of makes you realise how vast and eerie space is and how many wonders must be up there. So next time you're outside, even after watching this video if it's dark, just go gaze up to the night sky and think about how much is out there and how insane it is that we're just floating in this thought to be infinite thing we call the universe. It's truly incredible. So that's it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed and see you next week for 5 times we humans came close to extinction.